everyone, and welcome back to Seduce Me. Last time, we got started on Damien's route. Oh my god, the dude is such a cinnamon roll. But don't take him off! Whatever you do, just don't. Seriously, don't. Anyway, we're gonna be continuing on with his story today. So, let's jump right into it. Okay? Okay. Damien walked over to me and stood before me, looking at me with concern.
We'll protect you. Don't worry.
I'm not worried. I certainly wouldn't be opposed to you protecting me, Damien. I nodded, feeling that he was telling the truth, or at least a hopeful and comforting thought. Damien gently took my hand in his and brought it up to kiss my knuckles, however, making me blush and forget what I was thinking about. The sound of collective chuckles and playful snickers whispered through the air, making me blush even more, but as Damien sighed and cleared his throat, the laughter stopped. I looked up to see that he was glaring at his brothers with his lips on my hand. He and I pulled away from each other just as the sound of Naomi's car appeared. I quickly ate my food, waved to the boys, and left, confident that nothing was going to happen. Damien! Suddenly, Diana stopped in her tracks.
Damien? Who is...
Then dawned on her.
Ah, one of the boys. Why don't you tell me which boy is Damien?
I felt myself not in compliance. The youngest. Diana giggled in reply before laying go on my face and stepping back.
Really? The bastard son with you?
Okay, please, stop. I nodded once again, but this time it was partly my own decision to reply. Diana let out a sound that mimicked a cat's purr before stepping away from me.
Alright then. Well, if it's the youngest son you're infatuated with...
Well, at least she's happy with my romantic options this time. Beside me, sitting in a chair beside the bed, was Damien, rousing himself up to see me awake. I smiled at him, seeing his slightly ruffled hair and tired eyes.
Oh, you're awake. How do you feel?
I feel fine. No need to worry about me. Damien nodded before he looked down at the bed, taking my hands into his.
I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
No, Damien! Damien! Listen to me. It's not your fault, okay? It's not your fault.
No, it is. I was the one who wanted to come to the human world. I convinced the others to come with. If I never did that, we'd never have put you in danger like this.
I quickly reached over and put my finger on his lips, stopping him from going any further. I didn't want to hear anymore. Damien, it's okay. I wanted to help you out. I offered to let you all stay. Nothing is your fault. I gently moved my hand and cupped Damien's cheek, staring at him with concern. I didn't want him to hold guilt in his mind about this whole ordeal. Diana was desperate and she'd hunt anyone for them. It wasn't his fault, but she was desperate enough to hunt them down. One thing bothered me, though. Why did his dad scorn him? Why did Damien want to run away? The others seemed a little obvious, but Damien was a mystery. However, before I could be vocally curious, Damien gently held my head in his hands. Damien? Damien frowned and simply held me.
I'll show you everything.
Oh dear. Damien let out a small laugh, a hint of depression lingering in the breath he let out before he focused his energy into my head. My vision blurred, and suddenly I was back in the demon castle. Damien. I expected to see Damien wandering around the halls or with his brothers. However, I found him alone, sitting on the foot of the throne, tearfully curled into a ball. The room smelt of blood, and my eyes couldn't look away from the tearful Damien. Damien! I knew he couldn't hear me, but I instinctively called out to him. He looked lonely. Where were his brothers?
Why are you crying?
Oh! That's my grandpa! Damien picked his head up suddenly, as did I. Grandfather?
Who are you? What do you want?
I just want to know if you're okay.
Who are you?
He's my grandfather.
Don't be afraid. I'm just a friend.
Friend?
I stared completely in shock. When did my grandfather knew them? Everything started going in fast forward. I saw Damien talking to the voice of my grandfather, seeing his sad face go from happy to surprised to fascinated and cycle randomly. There were even moments when Matthew joined him, letting Damien speak for the voice in the air. It was all unbelievable. Here, my grandfather spoke of the human world, painting it to be a beautiful world full of opportunity. How did my grandfather know about all this? What was going on? My mind slightly spun at the idea that my grandfather delved into magic and demons. Well... Eventually, the world around me slowed down to see the boys standing before the empty throne. They looked determined, stout, and ready for something to happen. Damien stepped forward and held his hand out to the throne.
O tenebris portas, aperiat nobis, laudetur exitum, desiderium.
My grandfather started to chant a phrase unfamiliar to me, letting it rupture into the air around the boys. Gusts of wind started to rush through the room like a storm rushing in. I watched, however, as a small tear opened in the air in front of the throne. It glowed in an unholy purple color, peeking into a very familiar pink cafe. No way! That's... Quickly, Sam rushed over and drove his hands through the tear, pulling it open and making it larger and revealing the Pink Lady Cafe with my grandfather on the other side. In other words, the Pink Lady Cafe that's in Valentine Panic. My grandfather held out his hand, ushering the boys to come.
Hurry up, boys! I can't hold it open for long!
Instantly, the boys ran through the tear, climbing through and almost crashing into the tables and chairs of the cafe. I felt myself move through as well, joining them as my grandfather closed the portal. Well, this was the Pink Lady Cafe before the renovations. Still pretty pink, though. The boys looked around the space, almost mystified at the sight. My grandfather laughed, out of breath, before sitting down at one of the nearby tables.
There now. Welcome to the human world, boys. Let's see. Kay, make us some coffee, please. These boys need a drink.
I turned to see Kay, the owner of the cafe, and the only other person in the room besides the boys, smile, and quickly he got to work on making coffee. I was dumbfounded. She knew about them? I felt myself getting dizzy at the thought, but I shook my head out and tried to focus on what was going on. My grandfather looked at the boys up and down before chuckling again. The boys must have still been speechless.
You'll need a spell to cover yourselves up. Humans don't exactly have horns or parade around naked.
Well, that's true. The boys looked at each other before collectively nodding and focusing their energies. And boom! They have clothes! Before my eyes, they went from demons to human-looking demons. They looked to each other, ecstatic at their new looks. My grandfather, however, cleared his throat and brought the attention back to him.
Now don't be rude to Kay now. Sit and enjoy some coffee. It's the best in town.
The boys obeyed, obviously in the set. I looked at Damien's face and he was almost in tears with joy. I could tell that he was beyond happy to be in the human world. I almost felt like crying for him, but I couldn't understand why. Maybe it was his facial expressions, or maybe it was because I would meet him soon after this fact. Eventually, Damien stopped the magic, lowering his hands and letting me come back to reality. I held on to Damien, who kept a hold of me to make sure I didn't faint. Everything felt so wrong, and yet it all made sense at the same time. My grandfather knew magic. My grandfather helped the boys. He cast a spell on the mansion and on me to protect me.
I was the one who convinced everyone to come to the human world. I was also the one who asked that man, your grandfather, to bring us.
So he helped you come through. What happened after?
He gave us a wallet full of fake IDs and maps of the world. He told us to go anywhere we wanted and that he would pay for everything so we wouldn't have to use our magic. It was like he made us human.
Damien's so happy. Damien laughed nostalgically. I could tell he was happy, remembering how my grandfather had helped. I still couldn't wrap my head around it, but the answers I wanted were 6 feet under and unreachable now. You really wanted to be human. Damien looked at me, his eyes glimmering in both hope and shame.
More than anything, I still want to be human. I don't mean just in looks. Everything.
Damien looked to his hands, lowering them to the bed between us.
Humans don't read minds. Humans don't hurt people like demons do.
Well...
I didn't ask to be a demon. I want to learn things, go places, and not have to be bound by magic or anything.
I stared. It was pitiful to see him like this. He looked almost like a child, begging for something he really wanted. I wanted to help somehow. I just didn't know how.
It's all right.
Damien?
You've already done so much for me and my brothers. Sheltering us. Letting us continue to live here.
Damien frowned though, gently caressing my cheek with his hand.
I don't want you to get hurt because of us.
Damien lowered his head in shame. I couldn't help but feel my heart squeeze within my chest at the sight. He truly cared. Damien let out a small sigh before looking to me with a new smile. He had his sadness as well, but I could tell he was still upset about the whole ordeal.
All right. You should sleep.
Damien gently pressed me back down onto the bed, resolved in what had happened. Smoot! I couldn't let him leave without doing something. I quickly pulled Damien down to me, lifted my head, and gently kissed him, softly laying a hand on his cheek to keep his face close. Damien stared in deep surprise before hesitantly kissing me back, caressing my cheek and slightly melting at the touch of her lips. A soft sigh escaped his lips before he slowly pulled away with a smile. He gently licked his lips, making me go red in the face at the simple gesture. He let out a satisfied sigh before nuzzling my forehead.
Go to sleep.
Good night! And with that, he stood up and left the room, leaving me to rest as per his request. I smiled to myself before relaxing into the mattress.
How pathetically sweet.
Get out of here, Diana! I suddenly tensed up. I felt majorly uneasy. She was here. I quickly looked around the room, sitting up straight, before seeing Diana leaning against the window with a smirk towards me. What do you want?
Oh, I just wanted to see how close Damien was to you. Obviously, he's very close.
I stood from the bed, glaring daggers at Diana. And what's it to you? He doesn't want him to leave with you, so leave him alone.
Oh, I will. I don't care enough for the bastard son to try and take him away. I just want you to know exactly what you have.
What are you talking about? Diana chuckled, which made me slightly sick to my stomach for some reason. She knew something.
Did Damien tell you about what he lived through?
He showed me when he left. He met with...
No, not that. Before that. Did he show you anything before that?
Well, he did show me that one thing. Well, he was scorned by the Demon Lord.
He didn't show you everything, did he?
Why would he need to? He showed me what he needed to.
I don't need to show her anything else.
I turned to see Damien glaring at Diana with a scary glare. I felt dark shivers run down my spine as I stared at him.
Ah, Damien. Right on cue. I was just about to show her why you hate your life and why you have a human fetish.
You will not show her anything.
Oh, I won't. Funny, I don't believe you get to tell me what to do, bastard son.
Before Damien could leap at her throat, Diana snapped her fingers, suddenly making the room spin. I quickly grabbed onto Damien, who held me close as the room slowly began to change from my room to the demon castle. Oh dear! I looked around, feeling unable to move from Damien's embrace out of dizziness. I looked at Diana, who was leaning on a pillar on the far side of the room with a smirk. However, my focus was gathered on a pair of demons, one of them being the demon servant that was with the demon lord, carrying sheets and books across the room.
Damn that woman, ordering us around. I bet she thinks she's all high and mighty just because she bore that bastard son. Well, she's no queen. She's a simple harem girl. She'll never be queen. The Demon Lord reminds her that every bloody night. You'd think she'd let it sink in.
The snort that erupted from the servant's nose disgusted me to no end. How vile was this creature? Who was he talking about?
And about that boy, what do the other noble sons think about him? They treat him like an equal. He's no noble son, and he will never be. He's a bastard child that doesn't know his place, just like his bitch mother.
Bleh.
Shh, you know he can read minds from a mile away.
Then let him read mine. I don't care. That boy's a monstrosity never meant to be born.
Okay, I am ready to punch him. I am ready to punch the servant. The servant cleared his throat, however, at the sight of Demon Damien, who was standing nearby with an almost dead cold look on his face.
Ah, you.
Yes, me. I don't need to be a mile away to hear your thoughts.
Boy, what?
What I'm doing out of my room is no longer your concern. I may be a bastard, but I'm the Demon Lord's son regardless. I won't take insults from you anymore.
Then what are you going to do, bastard son?
Go off to the human world? Damien started to step forward. I don't know why, but the room suddenly felt cold and dark as Damien started to approach the servant.
I'm finally gonna shut you up.
Okay, here's a reminder in case you didn't catch it last episode, here's a little reminder for you. Never tick Damien off!
If you threaten me, you threaten him.
Damien's glare could practically kill. I was afraid to even watch, but I continued, hoping to not see blood spill from this fight. Damien continued to walk towards the servant, towering over him like a shadow.
I've taken your insults for long enough. Now, I get peace.
Stay away!
I've had enough of you.
Damien stopped, turning his head to look up at the archway in surprise.
Mother?
His mother? The demon servants slowly turned, also matching Damien's surprise as they looked to the archway. A figure, completely covered in a red sheet, stepped out into the hall, slowly walking to Damien. The thick sound of chains echoed in the room, dragging across the stone floor. I felt something in my gut tighten, unsure of what was going on, but positive something wasn't right about it. However, the familiar smell of blood entered my nose, only it was fresher and much more potent. My gaze slowly trailed down to the stone floor, only for me to go wide-eyed at the sight. Blood, brushed over by the sheet as a woman walked, painted the stone with a dark red and almost black color at the woman's wake. I looked back to the mother, now worried that she was bleeding underneath the sheet.
Leave us.
The mother sounded almost enchanting, despite saying only 2 words in her arrival. I almost let it slip from my mind that this was merely a vision. The servant glared before walking off, mumbling incoherently under his breath. The other demon with him giggled at the servant's inability to fight back. I guess Damien's mother was powerful enough to silence anyone. However, one fact stuck out to me. His mother was a harem girl? I imagined chains on her covered feet, making me frown. It was terrible to imagine.
What are you doing out? He'll hurt you if you aren't.
Shh. She just wants to spend time with her son. Damien stopped talking, staring at the woman walking towards him in his sudden calm demeanor. A hand slipped out from the curtain and gently caressed Damien's cheek, making him almost melt into the hand. Damien looked to his mother, a look of hopelessness on his face.
Why do you want me to turn around?
Just listen to my thoughts, like you always do.
I watched as Damien slowly nodded and turned around.
As you wish.
Shh. Focus on my thoughts.
I could tell that Damien was holding his breath. He must have cared very deeply for his mother. He was incredibly sweet. Silence lingered in the room, obviously because of Damien listening to his mother's thoughts. It was almost awkward to watch. The hand that held Damien gently petted over his hair. The breath that Damien was holding slowly was let loose, letting Damien relax. Maybe she was calming him down. He was pretty angry, but why make him turn around? All she was doing was petting his head and talking to him in her mind. It seemed surreal. Something was wrong. Yeah, something is definitely wrong here. I looked around the room, trying to see what was going on behind the scene. Was someone going to stop them? Was someone going to interrupt? My eyes landed on a dark shadow of a woman walking towards the couple with a knife in her hand. She had shackles with chains on her neck, hands and feet, but they remained silent as the woman neared the couple.
I'm sorry.
Oh dear. All of a sudden, the mother brought out her other hand and took hold of Damien's horns, pushing him to his knees. Damien, no! The shadow quickly started to run at the couple, raising the knife higher above her head. I instantly wanted to move, to run and protect Damien. I remained still, watching the scene unfurl before me.
No!
Damien kicked back, causing his mother to buckle and fall back and release his horns. Damien quickly turned and grabbed hold of the shadow's arms, tightening his grip on them. The shadow started to scream and bite at Damien desperately. Damien glared and threw the shadow at the nearby pillar, making it disappear and dropped the knife it was holding. I looked to the mother and regretted looking. The sheet that was wrapped around her wasn't long enough to cover her as she fell, the edge landing on over her stomach and covering her upper body. The lower half of her body, though, was covered with multiple different scars and blood. Her ankles were both shackled to different lines of broken-off chains. Her legs were together, but I could tell that the number of scars and the amount of blood only increased the further up her legs you went. Oh, jeez. Poor woman. I stared as the demon Damien looked to his mother in shock and heartbreak. The real Damien around me gripped me harder.
Why?
In an instant, his mother raised her hand to the fallen knife, tensing her hand and fingers to bare her nails. The knife flew off the ground and into the woman's hand, making her grip over the handle tightly.
Enough. I can't. I don't want to live like this anymore. I won't let him have me again. I won't let you invade my mind again.
The woman quickly got up to her knees and raised the knife over her head. I felt my mind screaming as I gasped.
I can't take it anymore! I can't!
No! Stop!
Enough!
I felt my voice vanish as I watched this woman, Damien's mother, slam the knife into her own body, curling over herself at the stab. After a choked sob and breath, the woman fell to the ground, curled into a ball as blood pooled from under her and the already blood-red sheet.
No!
Oh. Oh, shoot. The world around me shattered at his voice, stabbing through my heart and my stomach. Like glass, the world fell apart and I was left in darkness. The real Damien gripped onto me, burying his face in my shoulder as I gripped to his arms. Did that really happen? What did I witness? Why would Diana reopen this kind of wound for Damien? Finally, the world reformed back into my room with Diana back by the window.
The Demon Lord, despite his sadistic pleasures, loved Damien's mother beyond anything else, even his own wives. When she killed herself, the Demon Lord blamed Damien and his ability to read minds.
Well, if the Demon Lord really did love Damien's mother, then maybe he shouldn't have been so miserable that she would kill herself.
The only ones who convinced him not to kill Damien were his brothers. So the Demon Lord granted Damien his life. But he would be doomed to become a lowly slave as soon as the eldest became lord.
I looked at Damien, who had a face of both murderous hatred and pure sadness as he looked at Diana. The woman he glared at, however, simply chuckled.
So, one day, he was visited by an angel who told him about humans and painted him a pretty picture about them. Now, he's obsessed with it.
Why are you telling me this? Why are you doing all of this?
To butter you both up, of course. I'm about to give him the chance to have his wish granted.
Damien and I stared in pure disbelief. Was Diana serious? She was a nut job. Cuckoo. Diana laughed, seeing both of our faces.
I needed to see how well you could handle his past. You can't have true love without seeing all sides of your love, now can you?
Diana looked fully to Damien, crossing her arms. Something about this struck a fear chord with me, but I watched in silence.
I offer you this, bastard son. I have the ability to turn you completely human. No magic, no mind reading.
You're lying.
Am I? Read my mind. See for yourself.
Damien stared at Diana, only to go wide-eyed at her.
You're not. But...
That's right. Your humanity for your brothers.
I looked at Diana in surprise. What? She wanted him to hand his brothers over to her? That was underhanded and cruel.
Think about it, Damien. You can finally be human. You won't hurt anyone anymore. You won't put her in danger.
So, you're making him sell out his brothers for that? Diana. Just... No. I could see Damien look at me, instinctively making me look back at him. He had a look of fear, which scared me. Was he going to say yes? Was he going to say no? I wouldn't know what to do in this situation.
All I ask is that you completely willingly let me take your brothers back home. No big deal if that means you get to be a human with the girl of your dreams, right?
No.
Excuse me?
I said no. I will not give my brothers over to you.
Mm-hmm. Good, Damien. I could see Diana's anger flare up like a snake ready to strike.
You do realize what you're denying yourself, right? You're giving up your one chance to become human.
I'd rather remain a demon than let my brothers be your slaves. Now leave.
Diana gripped her hands into fists by her sides and glared Damiers at glared Damiers at Damien. And glared daggers at Damien. However, she didn't move to strike. She raised one of her hands and rubbed her temple in pure anger.
Then I'm curious, Damien. What would you trade for your humanity? You wouldn't go so far as to have sex with me for it, would you?
Damien remained silent. I looked at Damien, expecting him to answer, but why was he not replying? My mind went into a mini frenzy. Was he willing to have sex with Diana for it? You better not! Diana let a large surprised smile appear on her face at Damien's silence.
Or would you? Interesting. And if I were to offer that?
Again, silence. Damien wouldn't. He couldn't. Not with her. No way. Yet, at the same time, it felt like he was the master of his fate. He had to say yes or no. It wasn't my place to decide that kind of change. One part of me felt betrayed, but the other part of me, he almost wanted him to go through with the idea. For Damien's humanity. Damien remained silent still. Why was he not making a choice? Diana returned her gaze to me before smirking.
Ah, I see. Well, I guess you've proven useless to me. You're not going to say yes with your little princess around.
A purple pentagram slowly appeared beneath Diana's feet, letting her slowly sink into it.
However, in case you do change your mind, call me. I'll be around.
And with that, Diana left us alone in my room. I finally let out the air I was unconsciously holding in my chest, relaxing from the ordeal. Damien stepped to me and held me gently, surprising me.
Are you all right?
I nodded in response, unable to speak so immediately after being surprised. Damien let out a sigh, relaxing in the embrace. I gently placed my hands around him and returning the embrace slightly. I could hear Damien's heartbeat. He held me close in his arms, and I felt safe beyond words. Are you okay?
Yeah, I am.
I looked up at Damien, happy that he was okay. Damien blushed, moving a strand of my hair from my face to look down at me. However, he suddenly pulled away, looking down at his feet.
I should go. You still need rest.
Okay. Before I could speak, Damien turned on his heel and rushed out of the room. I stood there, staring at the door in a daze. Did that really just happen? It happened. Oh, heck no! You are not getting away from me! There was no way I was letting him get away from me after all of this. I quickly followed him out of the room, spotting him turn the corner to go downstairs into the lobby. I followed quietly, unsure of whether he was going, but determined to follow him to his destination. To my surprise, he turned the corner and pushed open a wall, sliding into it and closing it behind him. I followed and repeated the action, and earning entry. When did this... How did Damien know of this place? I walked down a small flight of stairs and continued through the dark secret hallway, unsure of what to see at the end. What was my grandfather hiding in here? Was it a magic room? Was it a secret study? I didn't know. I felt steam gently brush against my skin, making me shiver slightly. A boiler room? Ah, I was wrong. Oh, it's a hot spring! I was led to a door that opened to the outside. From the direction I was going and how far I went, was a little past the backyard. When I opened the door, the sight made me gasp. I was greeted by a hot spring, private and isolated from the world. Was it magic? Was it just placed conveniently here? I wasn't sure. However, my eyes traveled to a Damien, who was staring at me, unsurprised that I had followed.
Your grandfather told me of this place.
When?
When we first came here. Before we had dinner, remember?
My mind went back to the day we met, remembering when Damien was looking at empty space and speaking to it. I knew there was something going on, but I didn't know what. It's the ghost of Grandpa! We were talking to my...
He died, yes, but his spirit remained here while Malix chased us. Once Malix was no longer a threat, he left this place, knowing that we would take care of you.
Aww! I could not believe what I was hearing. He had been watching over me?
He didn't want you to be alone when you moved in. When we were attacked, he guided us to this house. We didn't know it was to protect you until after you went to bed that night.
There was so much information I felt nauseous. I felt myself falling back before Damien rushed over and held me close.
Whoa, careful!
I gripped onto Damien, feeling his warmth surround me. Everything was happening so fast. I didn't know how to contain it all. Yet, for some reason, I felt safe and secure in Damien's embrace. Was I crazy? Probably at this rate, but I didn't care to think about it. My mind went from spastic and crazed to calm and at peace in his arms. He wasn't using his incubus powers on me, though. I looked at Damien, seeing at last a deep love in his eyes. He cared for me and wanted to protect me beyond anything else in the world. He would have left long ago if that wasn't the case. Hearing my thoughts, Damien smiled at me and nodded, affirming them. I felt my heart flutter a bit, making me forget what chaos I went through. You really love me?
Yes, I do love you. More than anything.
Aww. Damien's so sweet. What a cinnamon roll. Damien gently caressed my cheek, laying his forehead against mine.
I wanted to tell you everything sooner, but I couldn't find the words. Now everything's come at you at once, and I really...
I brought a hand up, silencing Damien again. I understand. Just tell me things earlier next time. Damien let out a small laugh and nodded. I knew he'd make it up to me one day, but one question festered in my mind. Obviously, Damien was curious too.
Do you love me?
I stared, unsure of how to answer. He could read minds, yes, but I was sure he couldn't read the conflicting feelings of my heart. I felt a storm reaching in my chest, trying to dig up the answer. With my mind still frazzled, I let my heart guide my answer. Well, of course! I loved him and wanted to give him exactly what he wanted. He gently leaned in, letting my lips finally touch his gingerly. Damien let out almost a surprised gasp against my lips before wrapping both of his arms around my waist, pulling me close to him. I moved my arms up and around his neck, feeling the kiss between us deepen into a heated heat. My chest was pounding, making me feel and see fireworks in my mind. Damien was everything I desired. He was the man I wanted, demon or not. It was also supernatural to fall in love with someone so quickly. Maybe it was the sense magic I was thrown into. Maybe it was Cupid playing with my heart. Either way, I found myself melting at the thought of him being with me. I found myself combing my fingers through Damien's hair, making the man holding me softly tremble at my touch. He gently nibbled on my lower lip, asking me to deepen the kiss between us even further. I easily teased him before finally opening my mouth slightly for him. His tongue gently danced with mine as one of his hands slid up my back and cradled my head. He gently leaned my body back, making me cling to him as the heat of our kiss rose higher and higher. Gently, though, Damien slowed the kiss down and pulled away, staring down at me. His eyes burned for me, wanting me to melt and buckle in his arms. I could feel myself melt already. Damien opened his mouth to speak, but as a very small blush ran across his cheeks, he was reduced to shy silence. I stared as he tried to find the words to say in my eyes. I knew exactly what he wanted. He didn't need energy, though, right? Are you?
No, I just...
I stared wide-eyed, feeling a blush on my cheeks now. He didn't say anything more, but I knew what words would have followed if he continued. He wanted me. I was stunned. Was I that appealing to him? Was his passion really that deep for me? Damien gently nuzzled my forehead, losing the blush and finally being able to speak.
If you don't want to, we don't have to. I'll understand.
I can feel my mind go numb and purr at the idea. A moment with an incubus. He was the demon of sex, the purest form of lust and desire. My world would rock, and I would enjoy every second of it. At the same time, I was indeed inexperienced. Diana wasn't wrong when she claimed me to be innocent. Did I want to give that innocence to him? Especially this early? I found myself forgetting the words yes and no. What could I say to him? I knew then what I wanted, but how to say it without breaking the moment? Well, for James and Eric, I originally said, hold me, but... You know what? I may not be monetizing this video, but I'm not gonna risk it. I wasn't ready, but I still wanted to give him the love he wanted. Holding me close was all I needed, all I wanted. Part of me grew fearful of what Damien would think. Would he hate me? Would he regret giving me his love? So many stories ended when sex wasn't given, and I didn't want the story to end. Damien, however, smiled and caressed my cheek happily in response, nodding in understanding. I could tell that he was okay with my decision, which made my heart flare in joy. Damien gently leaned in and kissed my lips once again, wanting both of us to cool down from a passionate high. I kissed back sweetly, feeling the heat in my chest die out peacefully. Damien pulled away slowly, looking into my eyes to reveal a deep love that haunted his colorful irises.
Alright, let's get you back to bed.
Okay. Damien then wrapped an arm around my shoulders and lowered his other arm underneath my knees. I easily held on to him as he lifted me up like a blushing bride and carried me away from the hot springs and back towards my bedroom. Damien was kind enough to know my limits, and I trusted him to respect my choice. He wouldn't enthrall me to go against my wishes, nor would he force himself on me. He was perfect. Damien gently lowered me to my bed before petting my head with a loving smile. I was beaming in happiness. I didn't want it to end. As Damien turned to leave, I quickly grabbed his arm. Wait! Damien froze and looked back at me, awaiting my next command. He was going to obey no matter what I said, but he was anticipating what I was going to ask. I could see in his eyes. However, I just wanted him to be with me a little longer. I didn't want to rest alone. Hold me. I repeated my words, holding another meaning to those two words. Was he okay with what I wanted? It was so close to what he had asked for, but it wasn't going beyond what I desired. Damien took in my words and smiled, nodding before turning back to me and sliding into bed with me. I was surprised, but I happily melted into Damien's arms and as they wrapped themselves around my body. I rested my head against Damien's chest, enjoying the warmth it provided as I closed my eyes. He truly loved me as I loved him. My rest with him was as peaceful as could be, the best sleep I had in days. When I opened my eyes, I felt Damien still holding me, but he had fallen asleep. His sleeping face made me giggle softly, but the reality of the situation made my heart flutter. I couldn't believe it. I was laying next to a man I had grown to love with all of my heart. His warm embrace made me feel safe, and as our tender moment replayed in my head, I couldn't help but smile and snuggle into his chest further. Unconsciously, he held me tighter to his body, giving me more of his warmth. I didn't want to move, but then my core suddenly tightened and made me sit up without waking the man next to me. I felt my legs move and bring me to my balcony window where I opened the glass and stepped out onto the patio. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, who sat cross-legged on the railing of my balcony with her glowing and gold-eyed stare upon me. I opened my mouth to object, but Diana stopped me.
Before you get all huffy, I didn't come here to take your precious man away. I will admit, though, I'm shocked that you didn't give your innocence to him. We demons are the best lovers, you know.
Well, consent is a thing. I glared. What do you want, Diana?
Well, I wanted to extend a deal to you. I promise you'll like it.
I don't want any deals with you.
Not even to make Damien human?
I'm not giving you the boys!
I'm not asking for the boys this time. Ugh.
I stared dumbfounded as I looked at Diana. She rubbed her temple, clearly annoyed.
This whole trip has been a waste of my time and energy. All I want to do is go back home and take over my kingdom.
Then why don't you?
Because I need more energy if I want to even try to defend my home from that maniac demon lord. I may be brilliant, but I'm not exactly fortified to fight him.
I pressed my lips together in a flat line, not sure what Diana was wanting. Then I'm listening.
I'm willing to turn Damien human, if you're willing to give me your energy, and his.
Wait, what?
Simple, really. Give me the magic you're holstering in your body and let me take Damien's, and I'll be on my way, and you'll get a human boyfriend. A boring, plain, human boyfriend.
I couldn't believe my ears. Was Diana really offering this deal to me? How would you take this energy?
From you, a simple kiss will do. From him, that's a different story.
Oh no. What do you mean?
I have to sleep with him.
Oh no. I almost lunged at her. She must have been joking. Her sleep with him? No way in heck! Diana held her hands up in defense.
What you humans don't understand is how we demons work. A touch is a mere sip of energy, while sex is a pure energy transferal. Perfect for humans. A really passionate love-making session would drain any demon of their energy.
But he's...
Yes, he's your man, but I need the energy and you want him to get his wish. We both win, get it? I'll even throw in a memory spell. He won't even remember it.
That doesn't make it okay, though! I grew enraged. How is she okay with this? How did she expect me to be okay with this? What if he doesn't want it? I'm not gonna let you... I am not going to even attempt it. I am not even going to begin to say that word.
If Damien doesn't want it. Silly girl, do you not understand what he's willing to do for his humanity?
I froze. Diana smirked.
He's willing to have sex with me. He just won't say yes in front of you because he doesn't want to hurt you. It's rather pathetic.
I couldn't believe my ears. This is the truth? No way, it couldn't be. Yet, at the same time, this made sense. This is why Damien was so silent the first time she asked him. Was it truly because he didn't want to hurt me? Or was he actually not willing? Diana's voice broke my thoughts.
By the way, I'm not a total bitch if that's what you're thinking. I will ask him first before doing anything.
What? She was going to ask him? Why? You'll ask him? What if he actually doesn't want sex with you for his humanity?
If he says no, I'll just toss him back here and not change him. I'm not willing to do it with someone who will say no to me.
The way she talked about this deal annoyed me to no end. This was definitely a business deal, but the steel tore at my chest. Then sleep with her and he'll become human. Don't, and he'll remain a demon. Very conflicting. I mean... This is definitely... Well, if Damien wants to become a human, I guess I'm gonna... I feel so bad about this. Damien's face popped back into my memory, reminding me of his desperate wish to become a human. I was able to grant it to him right here. Diana was a cruel woman. Fine.
Fine. Meaning you'll agree to my terms.
I agree to your terms.
Beautiful. Now.
Diana slid down from the railing and walked to me, gently running a finger up my neck to under my chin.
Your energy first.
Oh dear. I closed my eyes, not wanting to look at her as she kissed me. The kiss wasn't unpleasant by any means. In fact, I felt myself melting into the kiss more so than I wanted. Every single nerve in my body tingled as energy spiraled up my entire being and into Diana's kiss. Soon, I felt a little weaker and a little more vulnerable than I was before. Diana pulled away and smiled down at me.
Such an interesting human girl. Sad to see you give up your powers so easily.
It's for Damien.
Right. Now, speaking of the bastard son...
Oh, I gave her my energy. Well, here goes. Diana walked into the bedroom and towards Damien, looking down at his sleeping figure.
Oh, such a sweet thing.
I know, right? But I really don't want to hear you say that. How are you going to?
I'll enthrall him, take his energy, cleanse his body, make him forget, and then cast the human spell when he goes back to sleep. Simple, really.
That's it?
That's it. I'll make sure there's no trace of me when I'm done.
Just do it before I change my mind.
As you wish.
Diana chuckled before snapping her fingers, making Damien vanish from my bed. I instinctively panicked, but caught a hold of myself, remembering what was going on. Remember to bring him back.
I will. A demon never goes back on their word.
And with that, Diana vanished. I felt my stomach churn in disgusting patterns at the thought of Diana with Damien. However, before I could even flex a muscle, Diana reappeared, adjusting her hair back to, quote-unquote, normal. What?
What? Oh.
Diana let out a small laugh as I raised an eyebrow.
I brought into an isolated tear between our worlds. There, time moves much faster than in reality, so I was able to take what I needed to be done.
Okay. Diana snapped her fingers, making Damien reappear in my bed as if he never left.
And there he is, clean and human.
I quickly ran to Damien's side, not sure what else to say. Diana sighed and popped a hip while crossing her arms at me.
Pity. Damien had so much potential, even for a bastard son.
Well, at least he's happy now! Can you? Before I could speak more, Diana vanished into the air, leaving me alone with Damien. I looked around, a little paranoid should she just be hiding, but as he clarified to myself that she was gone, I looked at Damien and brushed a strand of hair from his face. Human. Something about this was bittersweet. He got what he wanted, but he had to sleep with Diana to get it. I slipped back under the covers and into Damien's arms, feeling him unconsciously hold me close to him. I cuddled close, letting sleep take over my mind. Morning had come, and I was well awake before Damien. He was still in my arms, sleeping peacefully as if nothing had happened. One thing was for certain, though. He was human. He was no longer a demon. He was a human as he wanted. I waited for Damien to awake. waited to see him realize that he no longer had magic. I didn't have to wait long. Damien slowly opened his eyes, stretching and rousing up. I held my breath, waiting for him to make the realization. He wouldn't be able to read my mind. He wouldn't be able to use his magic. Damien's eyes landed on me, and his face grew a happy smile.
More...
His voice instantly grew silent as he stared at me, his smile suddenly fading into a look of shock. His mouth opened, but his eyes showed his speechless surprise. Surprise! You can't read my mind! Damien couldn't read my thoughts. Damien slowly sat up, keeping his eyes on me as if he was trying to figure out if he was in the dream. I gave a little smile to him. It was almost too cute to see him like this. Damien brought a hand to my face and ran over my cheek. I closed my eyes, feeling its warmth.
I can't read your mind. I don't have magic anymore.
I opened my eyes again, smiling at Damien's surprised expression now. In exchange for my magic and energy, Diana gave you your humanity. I stared, going almost frightful as Damien's eyes began to water. His hand on my cheek lightly began to tremble. I didn't know if he was happy or angry, so I prepared for the former. I wasn't expecting him to grab me and hug me tight enough to press the air out of me. I gasped as I felt Damien hold me close and tightly. He was trembling, which only increased my fear. What melted my heart was the sound of Damien weaving into my shoulder.
I'm human. You made me human.
Aww. I wrapped my arms around Damien, burying my face in his shoulder and nodding. You're human now, Damien.
Thank you.
You're so welcome! Damien pulled away slightly and pulled me into a kiss, one that was passionate and full of love. I imagined it to be one of the greatest kisses of all of mankind, for Damien's love filled every part of my body. I was happy, and so is he. The rest of the story can almost be passed over, and we're going to pass over it. One morning, a good couple of years after the boys and I had met, I had a moment to myself, so I sat in my room and took in all that had happened as if it was all a dream. The demons, the devils, the magic, it all was surreal to believe. It almost frightened me to think that it could have all been a dream. Been all a dream. But the warm feeling in my heart reminded me that it was all real. The demons, the magic, the love I had, all real. I smiled as I held my hands to my chest, relishing in the feelings dancing within my soul.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. I looked up at last to see Damien by the doorway, smiling at me. I smiled back. I was just thinking.
Oh? What about?
I was just remembering how we met and such.
Really now?
Really? Yeah. And I wouldn't change anything. I smiled in assurance at my own words. Everything I went through, everything I did for Damien, I'd do it again and 10 times over. Damien walked over and sat beside me, wrapping an arm around my shoulders.
You wouldn't change anything?
Nope. Damien looked at me with almost a knowing smile. He knew something. I just didn't know what.
I know about the real deal that made me human.
Uh-oh. I instantly felt myself go pale. He knew? How? Damien had put a spell on his memories to make him forget. What do you mean? Damien stood up and walked to my window, staring out of it.
My humanity, in exchange for your energy, and mine.
I quickly stood up. Damien, I
know that you agreed to let Diana take my energy if she agreed to remove my memories and make me human.
Uh-oh. Damien. I walked over and tried to reach out to him. I felt myself stop before even touching him. The choice was coming back to haunt me. I felt hopeless and powerless. I didn't know what to do. My heart was ripping itself in two. However, Damien looked at me with a smile.
Well, Diana didn't make me have sex with her.
Oh, thank God! What? I looked at Damien, raising an eyebrow as he wrapped an arm around my waist and pulled me to his body.
She took my energy, yes, but through a ritual. Demons don't completely lose their energy through sex. So she decided I was not worth the lay and simply put me through a draining ritual, used only for demons who were going to be executed.
But she made a deal.
She didn't have to remove memories if she didn't have sex with me. She still kept to her word.
I was completely dumbfounded. I was played. I was completely and utterly played. Well, at least she didn't sleep with him, right? That B-word! Damien laughed at the obvious anger on my face, pulling me close and leaning his forehead on mine.
Still, to think you'd make me sleep with her just to get my humanity.
You wanted to be human, and there was no other way I could think of. Damien kissed my forehead.
No. There wasn't any other way.
I'm sorry. Damien lifted my chin, making me look up at him. I felt completely guilty. I let him be taken over by Diana, and he could have slept with her all for his humanity.
Don't be sorry. You wanted me to be happy. If anything, you sacrificed a lot more than I could have.
I pressed my lips together, not wanting to feel more guilt. I knew that he was trying to make me feel better, but I felt utterly gross for letting that choice happen. Damien laughed before he kissed my cheek, making my guilt slightly shudder.
I understand why, okay? Please, don't beat yourself up over this.
I felt tears run down my cheeks. I didn't even deserve to be held by him. I felt sick to my stomach at myself. I tried to pull away, but Damien held me tighter, not letting me get away. No, let go!
Hey, calm down.
Damien pulled me closer, lifting my head to his chest and trying to soothe my crying. I gripped onto him, conflicted at myself. I wanted to get away from him, but I needed to hold him.
Diana thought you were very brave to make that decision. She respected you for making that kind of sacrifice. It's not easy to give the one you love away like that for their happiness.
Damien lifted my head once again, a world of love within his eyes.
I love you so much. I don't deserve your love at all. You gave me everything. You made me human. For that, I can never repay you.
Damien! Before I could finish, Damien pulled me into a kiss. It reminded me of all the love we shared and all the love we would share together. I gripped onto his shoulders as he held me close. I pulled away from the kiss slowly, looking up at him, still slightly pained and guilt. You forgive me? Aww. Damien smiled and lifted me up, wrapping his arms around my waist and looking up at me with the happiest, most loving smile on his face.
A lifetime with the woman I love is well worth forgiving you.
Aww. I felt a large smile grow on my face, happy tears now painting over my cheeks. I love you, Damien.
I love you too.
I didn't want to wake up if this was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of this man in my life. There were no words to describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, excitement, high, all at once. Here I was with the man I would be with forever, holding me like I was his greatest treasure. The past was behind us. We had a future to meet. And that was my happily ever after. And Damien's humanity. New password unlocked! Demon War! Wait. Alright, so that was Damien's route. Well, that happened. Well, it's a good thing Diana didn't actually have sex with Damien. Well, in any case, see you after the credits! Alright, so, that happened. We managed to get Damien his humanity. So, what's gonna happen now? Well, we're just gonna have to find out next time. So, thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a like. And see ya in the next one. Yup, see ya.